Once upon a cold Christmas season, at the North Pole workshop of Santa Claus, there lived a small rain chicken named Lucy. What? What do you mean you've never heard of rain chickens? Well, let me tell you. They live at the North Pole, the same as reindeer. Rain chickens are just like regular chickens, except that they have large antlers that sprout from their heads. Lucy loved living in the Claus coop with the other rain chickens, most of the time. For you see, Lucy was very prone to catching cold, which is not a good thing when you are a rain chicken living outside in the frigid North Pole in a rain chicken coop. Lucy was always stuffed up and was constantly sneezing. Achoo! Could be heard from the Claus coop. Icicles would drop from the roof and snow fell off the trees with each and every sneeze. Cover your beak, the other rain chickens would cackle. I'm sorry, Lucy would cluck back and then sneeze again. Lucy would sit in her roost each chilly night and gaze out the rain chicken coop window. Across the yard she could see Santa and Mrs. Claus in their comfy, warm living room, sitting by a roaring fire, all snuggled beneath one of Mrs. Claus's homemade quilts. Lucy thought, if I could only sit by that fire and under that quilt too, I would lose my cold for good. It was the night before Christmas. Santa and Mrs. Claus were very busy in the North Pole workshop. The elves were putting the finishing touches on the last batch of toys. Ho, 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 Santa laughed. We're ahead of schedule this year. Nice work, everyone.
We would like to invite everyone up to the house when you're finished for milk and cookies,
Mrs. Claus offered with a pleased look on her face. Oh, goody! The elves all shouted in unison, for elves always shout in unison. Oh, Mama, good idea, Santa chuckled. It won't be long and I won't have your warm, fresh cookies and ice-cold milk to make me jolly.
I know, Santa dear, said Mrs. Claus. We go through this every year.
But, Mama, the cookies the boys and girls leave for me by their Christmas tree, they're terrific. But the milk, it's always warm, Santa complained. The cookies are all right, but you know how I hate warm milk. Sometimes I think I would like to skip the whole night completely. Warm milk, ugh!
We're all done,
the elves shouted, again in unison. And as promised, the elves and the Clauses headed from the workshop up the snowy hill to the Claus home for their yummy treats. Lucy watched as they all carefully walked up the slippery path, and she suddenly had an idea. It was the best idea ever. The little rain chicken leaped from her roost and quickly popped out the Claus coop door. It was a bitter cold and blustery night. Lucy hurried as fast as she could to join the line of elves headed into the Claus home. Lucy fought hard to hold back the sneeze that would give her away. She quietly slipped inside behind the elves and quickly hid behind a large rocking chair. Ho, 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 she heard Santa say. Everyone to the dining room for your goodies. The elves all scurried up the hallway. Mama, Santa said to Mrs. Claus, I'm going upstairs to get into my robe and my slippers. I'd like my milk and cookies in the living room by the fire.
Yes, dear,
said Mrs. Claus.
The same as every other night.
Mrs. Claus entered the kitchen and quick as you please came back out with a tray of cookies and a big glass of ice-cold milk for Santa. She set it on the table next to Santa's comfy chair near the fireplace. Mrs. Claus left for the dining room to tend to her elfin guests. Lucy stepped from her hiding spot and hopped up on Santa's big chair. The fire was nice and warm. At last, she had her warm, cozy wish. The cookies on the tray looked so good. Lucy eyed Santa's tray. From behind, she heard footsteps coming down the stairway.
Oh my, Lucy thought, it's Santa.
Before she could hop down from the chair to hide once again, she felt a sneeze coming on. No ordinary sneeze either, mind you. This one was going to be a whopper. The footsteps were getting closer when Lucy let loose. Achoo! Came the sneeze. Lucy had sneezed directly into Santa's glass of milk. "Bless you," Lucy heard Santa offer from the hallway at the foot of the stairs, and then he added, "Mama, are you catching a cold?" Lucy crawled beneath Santa's chair just as he entered the room. "Mama, where are you?" Santa asked when he realized the room was empty. "Odd," he muttered to himself. "I was sure I heard her sneeze. It must have been the wind." Beneath the chair, Lucy struggled. She felt so badly for having sneezed into Santa's milk, but she didn't want to get into trouble for being in the house. "Oh dear," she thought, "what should I do?" At last her conscience got the best of her. She decided to warn Santa. She peeked out from her hiding spot just as Santa put his hand around the glass of milk. "Oh my," Santa said to himself, "this milk was too close to the fire, I'm afraid. It's getting warm already." He put the glass to his lips. "I am thirsty, though," he said as he began to sip.
"Santa, no!"
Lucy clucked, but it was too late. "Why, this warm milk is delicious," Santa gulped as he looked down, spotting Lucy. "I sneezed into your glass of milk by accident," Lucy clucked. "I'm so sorry, Santa." "Nonsense," laughed Santa. "This is the best milk I've ever had, warm or cold. And to think, it was created by a little rain chicken. I will call this Egg Nog." Lucy held her head up high, and Santa didn't see it, but she held her tail feathers close to the fireplace, too. Santa beamed, for he suddenly had an idea. It was his best idea ever. "Lucy," Santa said, "I don't know how you got in here, but I don't care. You have created something here that will make my Christmas Eve journey a lot more fun for me. I'm going to need you to come along with me, though."
"Really?"
Lucy shouted excitedly, and then added, "Ho, ho, ho, ho," Santa shook. "Bless you, little one. You'd better save that up for tomorrow night." And so little Lucy, the snot-nosed rain chicken, sat beside Santa on the sleigh Christmas Eve. She got to slide down chimney after chimney with old Santa, and she sneezed into glass after glass of warm milk. Santa loved the eggnog. He and Lucy hummed and clucked and sang Christmas carols as they worked. Santa even shared some of the cookies with Lucy, too. Lucy was so happy. The very next day, back at the North Pole, Santa put a nice big space heater in the Claus coop as a Christmas gift to the rain chickens. And Mrs. Claus gave each of the rain chickens a small homemade quilt. On Lucy, she even embroidered a large letter L that stood for Lucy. All of the other rain chickens cheered hooray in unison, for it's a well-known fact that rain chickens want to be just like elves. And even though she was nestled in her L quilt, snuggled in a nice warm Claus coop, Lucy looked up with a smile and clucked once more. Achoo! Think of Lucy the next time you sneeze, or the next time you enjoy a glass of eggnog. A quick reminder, Santa wants all you boys and girls to know that sneezing in milk to make eggnog only works if you're a rain chicken, so don't try it at home. And oh yes, have a Merry Christmas too.